Senator Elizabeth Warren of Massachusetts appears to be walking back her claim that last year's Democratic primary was rigged in favor of Hillary Clinton. And a new interview, she says, quote, "I agree with what Donna Brazile has said over the last few days, that while there was some bias at the DNC, the overall 2016 primary process was fair and Hillary made history." That contrasts with what she said last week after Politico published an excerpt from Brazile's book. It claims she found evidence the Clinton campaign had used its financial clout to tilt the nomination system in Clinton's favor. Watch.
This is a real problem. But what we've got to do as Democrats now is we've got to hold this party accountable.
Very quickly, Senator, do you agree with the notion that it was rigged?
Yes.
Jimmu Green is a Fox News political analyst and a former candidate for the DNC chair, and Evan Siegfried is a GOP strategist and author of GOP GPS. I almost called you even. I want to start with you, Jimmu. You can't have it both ways. It's not a yes and it's a no. So many people have said it's rigged, and some of them are sitting members of Congress on your side of the political aisle. What do you say?
She certainly was caught up in a moment.
Who? Which one?
Senator Warren. And I would say that that moment was orchestrated by Politico 5 days before a national election.
Whoa.
Democrats need
Politico
to understand.
Did not make her say that the system was rigged against Bernie Sanders.
She was caught up in a moment that was
Hillary
orchestrated by Politico. But I absolutely think she has to do more than
Elizabeth
just
Warren is
walk
one of the most
back
talented
her remarks.
Politicians in this country. Are you going to tell me that she doesn't know when to say no or yes?
She also was a Republican until she was my age, so maybe she doesn't actually understand the inner workings of the Democratic National Committee.
Evan, please.
But here's the thing. Democrats need to understand that all of this narrative around rigging is to undermine the first woman nominated.
Insinuating that it's a Politico conspiracy. It's like saying
the media is
Politico
not our friend. The media is not our friend.
Which is why Politico had Jake Tapper ask her whether or not it was rigged, and she said yes.
It's why they released the excerpt at that time.
My favorite part was
Donna
that
Brazile should have stopped that from
she was
happening.
previously a Republican. She wasn't able to answer the question.
It took Elizabeth Warren a week to walk it back. And you know why she's walking it back? Because Bernie bros and Bernie Sanders supporters all throughout the primaries and after screamed that it was rigged and set up against Bernie. It wasn't rigged in terms of actual votes, but the DNC is a structural organization.
That's the point. It was not rigged. Not one vote was affected by any of this.
The DNC was doing everything it could to throw up structural barriers to any person not named Hillary Clinton. And that is what the accusation was. So it was rigged in that sense. But Elizabeth Warren is now trying to do damage control because she just confirmed what every Bernie Sanders supporter who didn't go out and vote for Hillary Clinton on Election Day was saying, and they don't want to be a part of a Democratic Party that will push them away.
But how problematic is it, Jimmu, for Donna Brazile on one hand to say that she has evidence that this has happened?
Well, I think Donna has also walked back her remarks as well.
She's selling books.
She is selling books.
So maybe she's doing whatever she has to
tied
sell
to
books.
the timing also, I think, for Politico, which is something that Democrats really do have to grapple with. I'm serious about this. Democrats think the media is our friend. Donna Brazile should have said to Politico, there's no way you are releasing excerpts 5 days before the election. She also should have understood that Bernie Sanders signed the exact same agreement.
Her book was coming out. Her publisher chose to put
as the Hillary Clinton campaign.
On Tuesday,
I
and the advanced readers go out.
So what you're saying, Jimmu, is that Bernie Sanders and other candidates, Martin O'Malley, I would assume, but they didn't have memos of memorandum. They didn't have that memo of understanding. They didn't have that same sort of relationship, and that's been reported widely that Hillary Clinton had with the DNC.
Hillary Clinton had an opportunity to help the DNC, which was broke. Why was it broke to begin with?
It's still struggling.
We had a sitting president. This is, I am very concerned about how women who are running for office, who are elected officials, are treated differently, a double standard. Look at what Hillary Clinton did. The DNC was broke. It shouldn't have been broke. And she did what most women do. She went in and she helped to fix it. She and any Democrat who was running for the nomination should have had a strong, fiscally strong DNC operation for the 2016 election. And that is where openness, transparency, accountability, that's absolutely necessary.
The DNC is still broke? You said that.
Yeah, they can't raise any money right now. They have, I think it's almost $8 million worth of debt, whereas the Republican Party is in double digits.
It's
almost $8 million in debt.
You know that there was a certain amount of money that went to pay for a certain dossier against the president. And this is one of the reasons why, Jehmu, you can put all the politics aside. When you talk about the fundraising arm being broken for the DNC, aren't you concerned about where millions of dollars would have gone?
Look, I'm not going to get into the conspiracy theories.
You just accused Politico of
this
engaging in a
dossier.
conspiracy theory.
It's not a conspiracy. This is how the media manipulates narratives
You're
to
saying
affect
the media
elections.
is going out and attacking the left?
The Democrats need to understand the
covers for you
media
guys.
is not our friend. I said that when I was running for DNC chair. I absolutely believe that now. We have to understand they are not our friend. We need to manipulate them in the same way they manipulate us. Control our own narratives. That is absolutely key to our victory.
They run interference for many of you.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Bill Clinton gets accused of sexual assault. It's not a big problem. Roy Moore, my God, the sky is falling.
Absolutely.
And what Roy Moore did was disgusting.
We've got to get to some breaking news, but I'm going to ask you two to stay here. They'll fight during the commercial, promise me. You can't blame Democrats for talking up Tuesday's big election day wins. But what about addressing worries within their own party about an identity crisis? Our power panel is staying right where they are. I hope they'll be friendly. Despite their big wins on Tuesday, Democrats are voicing concerns about a possible identity crisis within the party that they worry could hurt them in 2018. Some of them are complaining that Bernie Sanders supporters are pulling the party too far to the left and that a full year after the election, they still lack a unified message other than resist Trump. Former New York Congressman Steve Israel, who used to head up the communications for House Democrats, told The Hill this, quote, "If you don't know who you are, you really can't agree on what you're going to say," end quote. We bring back the power panel, Jehmu Green, Evan Siegfried. Evan, your thoughts?
Well, last night I was at the University of Maryland speaking to students there, and at the end of my talk, I got approached by two Democratic girls who said, there isn't a place for me in the Democratic Party. These women were saying that they felt that the party had moved too far to the left, that Bernie Sanders was pulling it too far to the left. And then groups like the Women's March and their leadership, the Linda Sarsours and the others who would openly celebrate convicted terrorists and people who had murdered police officers, they felt that this was not the message to be sending out there. And they said, what do I do? And the Democrats are being pulled further and further left. We're seeing this litmus test where if you don't resist Trump adequately, you will be primaried. Look at Dianne Feinstein. She's no moderate. She's a liberal.
That's one example. And, you know, Jehmu, here's another one. We were talking about DACA, the Dreamers Act, in the last hour of Outnumbered. And I reminded everybody of Nancy Pelosi, who got bum rushed at the lectern by 40 or so undocumented people, as they call themselves. These issues, these core issues in your party, what do you say?
Well, I would never want the Democratic Party to be a monolith. Like, I think all of the diverse opinions to the far left, to the center, these are important, and we are going to come together. It's interesting. Evan, you wrote the seminal book on how the Republicans are not doing anything to reach out to urban voters, to reach out to millennials, to reach out to the diversity of voters that are the majority of voters as we move forward. And when you go to the DNC website and the RNC website, which I did before this show, there is not an identity crisis. On the DNC website, guess what it says? It has a message about how you can help the victims of the hurricanes. When you go to the RNC website, they're selling Trump hat ornaments. The DNC, the Democratic Party, is doing exactly what it needs to do.
How many people
by
base their vote?
resisting Trump?
Bring you both back. I got to run to commercial. We had a little bit of breaking news this hour. Stay close.